Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be giving you guys a complete 21 win challenge guide for the upcoming challenge, which is coming out into the game tomorrow. You can see it in the game right now. I believe it's running until Monday, and also you get a bunch of sprays and also of course the final spray as well as rewards. But if you've already got this, because this was out before, you get a bunch of coins as well, but you get a bunch of rewards, 21 wins in total. So it's just a good test to see whether you're one of the best in Brawl Stars. So before you jump into it, make sure you're using the creator code, that'd be greatly appreciated. And without further ado, let's jump into it. Alright guys, so jumping into set number 1, we have a gem grab solid center. So of course, always with the first, I would say probably 2 or 3 sets of this challenge, you're going to be running into a lot of randoms and a lot of people that aren't really coordinating together. So I always try and pick the Brawlers, which are going to be, good against pretty much everything. So the first, we've got to look at the mids then. So of course in gem grab you need a mid, and there's about 4 or 5 really strong mids on this map. So the first one's going to be Penny. Penny's going to be really good on this map because of course there's a lot of unbreakable walls where you can put that turret and basically act as a 4th brawler. Max is going to be really good brawler, but more so towards the brawler people that are more high skilled. But if you're not as high skilled as others, you can go with like the Meg mid, you can go with the B mid, you can even go with a Poco mid because it is just the first set. Then in terms of lanes as well, then I always recommend, especially at the early stages, brawlers that can deal with tanks and aggressive brawlers. So that's why, Shelly used to be one of the worst brawlers in the game, but now she's literally like the best brawler in the game. So I would definitely recommend picking up the Shelly down the lane. She's going to be good against pretty much everything, especially those tanky options. And I actually went with a double tank counter for this one. I went with the M's as well. You could easily go with like a Tara as well, or a Surge or something like that. So that is set number 1. Let's jump into set number 2. Okay, so now jumping into set number 2, we have Bounty Temple Ruins. So as you can see on the screen, this is going to be the best composition for this map. So this one is a little bit of a weird one. You can either go with like this kind of like assassin, well, not really assassin brawler that can deal a lot of damage quickly with the speed gear on the lanes that can really catch the opponent off guard. And then of course once you get that lane once, it's really hard to then get it back. So of course, brawlers like Tara and Shelly can really win that first engagement pretty well, especially Tara with the pets as well. And then once you win your lane once, you should be able to hold it for the majority of the game. And then I just went with a Brock down the middle. So again, set number 2, you're probably going to be facing off against a lot of tankier options. So that's why I went really heavy on the tank counters. And then with Brock, I'd recommend probably going the jump gadget as well, just in case you face off, I don't know, like a Mortis or like another assassin brawler. There's some other options as well if you don't feel comfortable with these. I think Crow can be secretly a good option. In Bounty, doesn't really lack the kind of power to get kills, but he's going to be able to scout the lane pretty easily. Tick going to be a pretty safe option when it comes down to Bounty in general, and just making sure really on Temple Ruins you're just checking the bushes every single time, and probably equip that vision gear as well. It's really going to help you out. Okay, so moving on to set number 3, we have Brawl Super Beach. So with Super Beach, I think it's quite plain and simple, this map, to be honest. So of course with Brawl, again, you're really focusing on the mids and the lane battles. So the best mids on this map, in my opinion, are going to be the likes of B, Crow, Max, and Penny. And then again, even Poco if you want to go with like Poco double tank or something like that. But for me, I think either B or Crow will be your best bet. So of course B just really dominant when it comes down to Brawl, and really dominant when it goes into tanks. And if you're a good B, you're going to be able to carry it pretty easily. And then Crow's just really good, kind of like B in a sense, where you can slow the opponents. And then of course Crow, you can help out lanes a little bit better than a B because you can literally jump on them. Also best solo carry options as well. This is a new category that I added because of course not everyone can play with a team. So these are the brawlers that are going to be the best carry potential, those big pop-off moments, with Shelly, Tara, and Surge, for example, on this map. For me, you can definitely run a throw on this map like a Barley or Willow, but only if you're really accomplished and if you're using the slow gadget on Barley, because you can easily spawn trap for those type of brawlers. So a lot of good lanes on this map. Set number 3, it shouldn't be too hard here. Okay, so now moving on to set number 4, we have Heist KABOOM Canyon. So you can see the best composition on your screen right now. So I went with the Brock, Colette, and the Crow. So the Brock will be using the rocket fuel gadget. He can break open the mid straight away. What this allows you to do, it allows you to get into mid quicker, and it allows you to have 3 different ways to then progress up the map. You don't want to be breaking the opponent's back wall, by the way, if that's not broken already. And then next we got the Crow. Crow's just good either lane. I normally push him down the right hand side. He's easy just to scout the grass, get the slows, get the kills, and he's just a really good counter to a lot of different brawlers. And of course Colette is just a solid option in Heist, really easy to use on KABOOM Canyon, and just really good at shutting down just literally anything on this map, especially with her gadget, which is really strong on this map in particular. If you don't feel like going any of those brawlers, you got some other good options as well. You know, B can be a really solid pop-off brawler. I really like the Bonnie on this map in particular. Of course, you got to be careful of the Colettes, but Bonnie is just such a solid brawler on this map. Being able to jump from the mid grass to the high safe is just so broken. You got Belle as well, which is more of a control brawler, but for me, I love playing Belle on this map just because, especially with the ricocheting shots, it can be really annoying for the opponents. You know, Eve's gonna be pretty good because she's, you know, she don't have 3 different ways to get into the map. She can just go in every possible direction because of those lakes. So for me, there's a lot of good options for KABOOM Canyon. It's just whether you're keeping that mid control. Okay, so now jumping into set number 5, we have a Knockout X marks the spot. So you can see the best composition and other good picks on your screen right now. So the best composition, in my opinion, it's going to look something like this. So you're going to have a tick in the middle. You know, tick you might think is really wide open, but it's actually really strong on this map. It's really easy to funnel the opponents and hit people when they're in that mid grass or just in and around that middle area. That's where most people, of course, kind of fight on this map. And then you've got the Nanny. Nanny's going to be a fantastic counter to a lot of the other sharpshooters on this map. And then, of course, in Knockout, it is, of course, literally the best of, it's literally a best of 3. Which goes really quick in a challenge. Normally, I'm used to it in Power League where it lasts a long while. So, you know, brawler like Nanny, literally getting 1 kill in one of these rounds is going to be a saving grace. Definitely a really strong brawler. And same with Mandy as well. She's literally got a kind of Nanny type super in a sense that you can literally snipe someone across the map and get a really good kill. So that's why I went with the Mandy. But if you don't really like playing Mandy, you can go with another sharpshooter like the Piper, for example. You go with a Gus, you go with an Eve, something similar like that. Again, you can go with a B as well, which is just good against everything, especially in this type of meta. A lot of good options on X marks the spot. What I always recommend with Knockout, you got to play it super safe because literally 1 death can cost you the entire game. All right, guys, so jumping into set number 6, we have Hot Zone Temple of Boom. So you can see on the screen the best compositions. This one is a little bit of a weird one. I've not played too much of this on ladder. I don't know why. Whenever I see this, I'll just skip it. So maybe I don't know completely the best strategies, but just from what I've kind of played a small bit, this should be the best composition for you to use. So I went with a Penny in the middle. Penny's just solid everywhere right now. You can't really go wrong with a Penny, especially because there's just so many walls on this map that turret's always going to be in a safe spot, and she's solid against everything. I went with a Hank. Hank is so OP literally everywhere. I didn't want to be boring and just say go Hank everywhere, but on this map I think it's going to be really good, especially to just suffocate the opponents. Once you get behind either of those walls down the left or the right, it's just going to be so easy to spawn trap. And then I went with the Ems, just because Ems is a decent hot zone brawler, and especially because there's like this wall down the right hand side, I think she's just going to be good whether you face off against any kind of tanky oppositions. And even if you face off against, I don't know, like a Sprout or a Squeak, at least you've got a little bit of HP going your way so you can tank quite a few shots. So of course some other options as well. I don't think I put Squeak on here, but Squeak is a really solid option. I don't know why he didn't actually make it on the graphic, because he's so strong on this map, so easy to connect his shots. You know, B, of course, really strong. Griff, a really underrated brawler on this map, because of course breaking open that middle is going to allow you to, of course, find more avenues to shoot the opponent. Sprout, really toxic, but of course really risky. So this map is probably a little bit harder to win on, to be honest. It's going to be quite chaotic. Okay, I'm moving on to set number 7, the final set. We have a Bounty, Nowhere to Hide. So on your screen you're going to see the best composition and picks. So for this map, it's very wide open. Whenever this was in the Power League rotation last time around, just a bunch of long range snipers were used pretty much all of the time. So best composition, in my opinion, is going to be the Piper, Nanny, and Eve. So 3 sharpshooters, of course. I think you might have to be a little bit careful if someone, for example, uses like an aggro pick. So maybe you want to switch out the Piper for maybe like a Gus or a Jean or something that can deal against, I don't know, like a max composition or like a Fang composition. You've got to be a little bit careful of everything when it comes down to Bounty, of course, because especially in the blind picks, you don't know what you're facing off against. At least in draft, you know what you're facing off against. You know, Max, a really solid option if you're reaching towards the end. I think in terms of pressure, there's no better brawler than Max on this map. Eve's going to be, of course, solid. We already spoke about Eve, and Eve's at least like a soft counter in a way to those aggressive brawlers, because you can kind of just camp on that water, or you can use your gadget to get away. Of course, some other solid options as well. You can easily go with RT in the middle. He's going to be pretty solid against any aggression if they do go with that. And then Mandy, of course, really solid in knockout overall, and some other good options as well. nowhere to hide. It's literally bounty. It's all down to getting your kills and surviving. Guys, it's gonna be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed this one. So let me know what you think of all the compositions. Would you go anyone else? But to be honest, I think that that's pretty much the best you can really get, except for Temple of Boom. I'm a little bit scared of that one. I think that one could be a little bit chaotic, but overall, I think last time I played this challenge, I think a lot of people thought that it'd be like insanely hard, but for some reason it weren't too difficult. I'm not too sure why, but anyways, that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.